birthday, each year around my wedding anniversary, every time, because these areas, for me, should be always a constant moving, developing, and growing process within our lives. And so as I think about the anniversary, 33 years pastoring, over 40 years as a minister, as I think about pastoring and think about the most complicated, the most challenging aspects of pastoring, it's the same as everyone else would say. It's just dealing with people. People are the most challenging. But even though people are the most challenging, I still love people so deeply and so very much because our Father in heaven loves them far greater than any of us could ever. And when I think about that, I think about the single number one challenge in committing to live a life of faith, life of love. It's the very thing that is very dear to our Creator, is the thing that's most challenging to the human being. Faith and living a life of love. As I begin to think and talk and over and again over 33 years, and I try to share my experiences, but with my kids, and I find out that it's a challenge. I try to share them with members, and I find out it's a challenge. And I share the simplicity, because complicating it doesn't help. And the simplicity of walking with the Creator is about hearing His voice and obeying it. I say that's why we said every week about around finance time, hear the voice of the Good Shepherd, obey the voice of the Good Shepherd, and a voice of a stranger, the voice of self, the voice of Satan, we do not follow. But yet and still we keep following the voice of self, the voice of Satan, the voice of others. We keep following. We confess every week, we're not moved by what we see, feel, or the circumstances. We're only moved by the Word, and we constantly keep being moved by what we see, what we feel, and the circumstances of life. How did we change that? I don't know. Because every individual is different. But the only thing that can change us all is the Word. And if we will not take that Word and make it a part of who we are, we can't change. We can't grow. We can't prosper the way the Creator wants, because everything that we need is wrapped up in His Word. Everything. Everything. Say everything. Everything. The Bible says every exceeding precious promise has already been given to us. All of the promises have been given to us. Every single thing. Too much feedback? All right, we got to find the other one, because I have another one as well. And I think that part of that, they got to cut that off first so it don't make noise. In there, cut that off first, then that, because it'll make a blast of a serious noise. But got to get back to my mindset flow. But let me start back again. Everything we need is in the Word. And that's the place we spend the least. We spend more time on television than we do the Word. We spend more time with other people than we do the Word. There's some things you don't have a choice. You know, if you want to make money, you got to be on the job 8 hours. Because how many of y'all know being on there 2 hours ain't going to pay your bills? So since I got to be there 8 hours and it's taking up 1/3 of my whole day, guess what I'm going to do? When I work the secular job, guess what I do? I feed my mind the word while I'm at work. Back then, you just put little headphones on. When they couldn't do the headphones, then you just put one in the ear so you could hear, because they say, oh, that's too much distraction. But I found ways to get the word in me. Because I want to tell you something. The only thing that can change us is the word. Look at somebody just tell me this. The only thing that can change us is the word. But listen to me carefully. Listening to the word once a week won't bring about the kind of change you need. Let me tell you something about myself, because the one thing that I can tell you is about myself. Because there's nobody ought to know more and better than myself. If I know anybody better than myself, then something's wrong because I don't know me. But I can tell you this, in walking with the Creator for 40-some years, listen to me. The more I understand me, the easier it is for me to understand you. I'll say it again. The more I understand me, the easier it is for me to understand you. Why is that? Because the thing that I've learned, and I start putting it in book form, which you don't have in print yet, but there are some books that I have put in print, little small ones, quick, because the other books, I put everything I know in books. Nobody wants to read them because it's too much. Because y'all know the saying, if you ever want to hide something from people, put it in a book. Because the one thing people don't like doing is reading. This one is called Understanding What Sin Is. Listen to me. Most of us keep struggling with sin because we just don't understand what it is. Now, is it more than what's in here? Because this is a simple one, question and answer. I give you a question, and then I give you the scripture to reveal the answer. So you can go in the scripture, and I try to give clear-cut verses so you can see. This one is called The 12 Steps to Overcoming Sin, using the same principles of AA, NA, SA, and all of the other A's. Because all of them build their foundation off AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And those 12 steps are biblical principles that teach you how to overcome any particular issue in your life. And I begin to show it so you can see how it's connected to Scripture. So you can begin to see. And principles, if I can remember, 4 and 5 are some of the most difficult of all. It is take a thorough examination of oneself. Go back and try to right the wrongs. Those are some of the toughest things. It's to really get to know yourself and be honest with yourself. See, because when I be honest with myself, I really understand Paul. When Paul says, he didn't say, I was the chief of sinners. He said, I am. I can really understand why he said, I am. I can really understand why people say, I'm only a sinner saved by grace. I can understand why they say that. I just don't necessarily have to agree with it. But I understand why they say. Because when you begin to examine oneself, listen carefully, when you begin to examine oneself and see the wickedness in yourself and begin to acknowledge the wickedness of yourself and understand that it's always, even if you don't let it out, you begin to realize how sinful you really are. This one over here cussing, but you're not, but you're thinking it. And you talking about how bad they are for cussing, but the reality is that you're thinking it. Now, I'd rather tell you this, it's better to think it than to let it out. But it still lets you know that you got to struggle. The difference, you have a discipline to control and not let it out. The other one don't have the discipline and you just let it out. Because I have never met so many cussing saints in all of my life. Cussing preachers. And some of them even known as the cussing preacher. And then it make it even worse when they're on TV cussing. I know somebody trying to say, who's the cussing preacher? You know. But I understand. I understand why preachers, pack. You say, what do you mean by pack? I mean, you can carry a gun. They pack. I understand a whole lot of stuff. After you pass the 33 years, you get to understand a lot of stuff. Human nature is human nature. God's people are something. All you got to do is just read the Bible and look at Israel. You get to see exactly who you are. Because we haven't graduated from being Israelites. Right. We haven't graduated. And there were times Israel was worse than the other nations in terms of sinning. But I understand, because as you begin to grow and you begin to understand human nature, and these things will help you understand the nature of sin, the 12 steps to overcoming sin. This one right here, thoughts are the root, lust is the tree, life driving force that produce the fruit of sin. When you begin to understand the makeup of the three major areas that always drive you into sin. Number one, thoughts. 2, lust. And then 3, your actions. Because the lust inside of you, the desire. See, desire is nothing but lust. The desire inside drives you into doing. Listen, there's nothing you do in life without lust driving you. You couldn't even make it here today if you didn't have a desire to come. And it's obvious, others didn't have enough desire. We need desire to go to work. We need desire to eat. Just imagine, have you ever tried to eat without desire to eat? Have you ever tried that one? I've been there. It's very difficult. Where I have to make myself do something that I have no desire to do, and I have to make myself do it because I know it's a necessity in order to live, but have no desire to do so. Eat. Been there. I have to invoke the power of God in the name in order to get myself to eat. Been there. Very challenging, very difficult. Another one called Understanding the Effects of Sin. Now this one, Understanding the Effects of Sin, and this one, Understanding the Nature of Sin, is being a more detailed book that's be coming out in the future. Prayerfully, Understanding the Nature of Sin will come out this year. And then this one, We Become Who We Are. And I'm probably going to change the title to it so it can just say 12 things that shape every one of our lives. Just 12 things. 12 things that shape our lives. 12. You can't excel at anything until you get to know you. Do you know why we struggle in our marriages? Because we don't know ourselves. Do you know why we struggle in our marriage? Because we don't understand sin. Remember I told you sin is deceptive. It hides behind anything and everything. So you can't see it. Because if you can see it and recognize it for what it is, then you can overcome it. And this is, listen, This is why God gave us his Torah. He gave us his word. He gave us his word, his commands. He gave it to us so it can expose sin in all of its different forms so we can rise up, so we can live life to its best. Because listen, every command of the Creator gives us the ability to live life to its fullness and at its best. I want you to think about this for a moment. Can you have a healthy marriage when two people in it is constantly being unfaithful in that marriage? Can you have a healthy marriage when two people is constantly lying in that marriage? Can you have a healthy marriage when two people in that marriage do not honor and do not have any respect for their parents? Can you have a healthy marriage when you don't know how to honor Shabbat and take a day of rest? Can you have a healthy marriage when you're not honoring the Creator and you're taking his name in vain? Can you have a healthy marriage when you're coveting everything everybody else got? Just keep going through all of them. It's trying to help teach us how to have life at its best. The Almighty is not trying to cramp our style. He's trying to enhance it. He's not trying to make our life worse. He's trying to make it better. And we can't understand that. You know why? Because of our own selfishness, because of sin. Because sin makes us all selfish. And listen, and because of that selfishness, we can't enjoy life. Because life at its best is loving the Creator and loving other people. Listen, it's not about you. It's not about you. I'll say it again. It's not about you. Listen, you do not become happy when it's about you. Listen, you will never be happy when it's all about you. You know when I'm at my happiest? When I'm helping others and others help me. It's not about me. It's about me helping others. And it's not about them and they helping me. And that's when life is at its best. So whenever it's ever about me, never. But don't I need some me time? If you say me time meaning some God time, then yes. But if you just need time just to be about you, then no. You mean tell me I can't enjoy myself? I can't go and play basketball? Listen, I love basketball, and I can have a lot of fun playing ball by myself. I can fake folk out everything that don't exist. That's 3-2-1 and win a game, and ain't nobody out there on the court. But I want to tell you something. Listen to me. After a while, it gets old. You need some other people on that court. So even when they go on to play basketball, it's not just about yourself. It's about enjoying the presence of others, whether you know them or you don't. See, because when you really get down to it, it's always about other people. Always. Always. Look at somebody, say always. Always, always, always. You know, these right here, these couples, they're the seniors around here. They've been married the longest. I've been 42 this year. But at any given time, when it was about you all, were you happy? Huh? No, I'm talking about real happiness. I ain't talking about fake. I ain't talking about temporary. I'm talking about real happiness. What was about yourself? Because I'm going to tell you something. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me. When you commit adultery, you feel good for a while until you had to come home and face that other party. When you go out there and spend money that you shouldn't have spent, that end up hurting the family, you feel good when you purchase it until you got to come back. So I want to make sure you understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real happiness. I ain't talking about that temporary thing. I'm talking about really being happy. When have you really been at your happiest? It's always when it's been about others. Always. That's how the Creator wired us. Why do you think Yeshua said this? Why do you think he said this? Why do you think he said, the lawyers came and said, hey, try to trap him and say, hey, which are the greatest commandments? And then he answered, and he said that most people don't realize this, because which are the greatest is referred to as 2, but technically it's 3. Because the first command and the greatest of all commands is, listen to me carefully, is to acknowledge this one. Yahweh our Elohim is one. And you're to love that one Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. That's the first and the greatest of all. And the second is likened unto this. You are to love your neighbor. Love people like you love yourself. Not just love your family, not just love the church people, but just love people like you love yourself. And I can tell you right now, from the time I started 33 years ago today, to love people like yourself is not, it's not an easy task. Because when you treat people the way you want to be treated and people don't treat you the way you want to be treated, it can make you not want to keep treating people the way you want to be treated. But I can tell you from experience, which most people have not treated me the way I want to be treated, but I keep treating people the way I want to be treated, and I can tell you without a doubt, you always win. You may not win in the emotional realm, but you always win over that long haul because he rewards you for doing what's right. Because I want to tell you something, it don't feel good to keep doing right by others and others don't do right by you. It don't feel good. It don't feel good when you're pastoring for 30-some years that you done helped so many people, and the people you help the most are the first to leave you. The people you help the most are the ones who do not appreciate what you do. The people that you help the most end up taking you for granted. And the people you help the least are the ones who help you the most. That's not a fun thing. Can you imagine, got my brother over here, always there for his family. I've been watching him from a distance, always there for his family. But yet and still, when he in trouble, his family not there for him. That don't feel good, do it? But it happens over and over again. How in the world that one mama can take care of 6 kids, but 6 kids can't take care of one mama? They took care of you, loved you, fed you when you were acting stupid, and then you got a little issue with them and you can't take care of them. There's something wrong with that picture. But what creates all of that? Sin. See, it creeps into everything. That's why Yeshua the Messiah came to deal with the sin issue. Because without the sin issue dealt with, we all would be miserable people. Just imagine if there was no such thing as forgiveness. My Lord. Whew, I don't even want to think about that one. Even though at times it's difficult, let it go, but boy, do you feel so good when you just let it go. When you forgive. Watch this one. Just imagine if you had never been forgiven. We ain't talking about you forgiven. We talking about somebody just releasing you. When you knew you were wrong, because you know good and well, when we did stuff wrong and everything, we can live with some serious guilt. Can you imagine that? I don't even want to imagine a world with no forgiveness in it. I don't even want to think about that world. I mean, this world might be wicked, but at least there's some forgiveness in here. You know, thank the Creator for forgiveness. Thank the Almighty for forgiveness. Look at somebody and say, thank the Almighty for forgiveness. Woo, thank the Almighty for forgiveness. Look, if it weren't for forgiveness, I know good and well, Lady Webb and I could not have stayed married for no 40-something years. It just never would, never. Not in this life. Not in this life. Y'all think y'all could be married, what, 45 or 46 now? You think y'all could have stayed married 46 without forgiveness? 46 more. You think it would have happened? Y'all could have stayed married for 46 years with no forgiveness in there? Yeah. You think so? Deco would say, ain't no way we'll survive. But just say, no way. That's the only thing that allows us to continue to deal with each other. You know, as much as I love my mother, if it weren't for forgiveness, I couldn't deal with her. And I know good well she couldn't deal with me. Because I don't care how good I think I am. Because do you know you just doing good can get on somebody's nerve just as bad as doing bad? Did you know that? Did you know just doing good, doing the right thing can get on somebody's nerve? And they have to release you from just doing good all the time. So you got to understand humans. Because once you understand humans, well, let me say this way. Because I don't think y'all get it. Let me try this one. All right? I want to try this. Can you imagine yourself being, you know, people say, they say this all, you know, quote, you know, I'm married to Jesus. I'm married to Yahshua. Think about that. If you really married to him and you really submitted to him and you just do everything he say, listen, I don't think most of us could handle being married to Yahshua. You know, because here's some of the sayings of the women, right? Here you're saying, you're not my father. And he's saying, I am. And then you say, then here's another one. You think you're always right. Because you will find fault even with him. You know how we know that? Because his own disciples did it. They didn't understand everything he was doing. Can you imagine that? I thank the Creator I am not married to him. I don't really think we can comprehend if we would, he said, I really wished I was walking with Yahshua. You know, I don't think you could handle being his disciple. You know how I know that? Because you can't handle being mine. And I am not nowhere near perfect. And you struggle with it. Would you imagine with him? Because at least you can find something on me. But you can't find nothing on him. Now, you can pin some stuff on him that does not there, because that's how they got him nailed to the cross. They lied on him. And I know people lie on me too, so, I fall in that category too, where they lie on you, because they can't find nothing, so they lie. But the reality is, I don't really think we understand, if we were really walking with Yeshua, how difficult that would be. I don't think we really understand that one. You ought to be glad that, the Almighty gave you a Pastor Webb instead of Yeshua himself. I'm serious. Because I don't think we realize how difficult that would have been for any and all of us. As much as I would love to be a true follower of him if he was walking there, but I've probably been just as blind as the 12. Had my issues just like the 12. Knowing me always riding to the top, I may end up being Peter. I don't know. Always sticking your foot in the mouth. We like to say, if I was back there with Adam, I wouldn't have ate. Well, you're here today and you're still eating. And so you know what that let me know? If you was there, you would have ate just like Adam. And I would have ate just like Adam. We come up with some dumb stuff. Because we don't understand ourselves. Look at somebody and say, Lord, help me understand me. Because see, if we really understood ourselves, we wouldn't talk about nobody. Because we realize everybody's in us. If we really understood, you would see every person you got a problem with, you would see yourself in them. You say, ain't no way in hell I'll be like that. Ain't no way. Because you don't know yourself. See, listen to me. The only reason that I have high moral standards, and especially in the particular area of sex, the reason is because of the values that were placed in me. You say, ooh, I thought you said you didn't know what the Bible say about sex until you was in high school. I sure did. But I tell you this, I was like Joseph. See, Joseph saw all of that immorality that his brothers did, and all the wrongdoing his brother did, until it really burned in him to not want, and he maintained sexual purity because he saw all the wrong. Let me say it another way. Sometimes seeing all the wrong help you do right. I don't see that let you know, most of y'all were not compliant children. Because compliant children, we always want to please our parents. We always want to do what's right. I didn't say we always did it. I said we want to. We always want to do what's right. And because of that, we learn from other people's mistakes without having to make the mistakes. Strong-willed children are easily swayed children. They think they their own. I'm my own man. I'm my own woman. And they think, listen, they think they're their own and nobody has influence over them, when in reality they're being influenced by everybody and can't understand it. I watch it because I got kids. And I watch the strong-willed, and I'm telling you, them strong-willed kids, man, they are easily influenced, and they don't even understand how influenced they are. And the compliant child it seems like it would be the strong-willed child because they're not so easily influenced. Because all they want to do is just whatever their parents say, they just want to do it. Whatever authority say to them, the teacher say, they just want to do. They're the ones that are not easily influenced. If you understand what I'm trying to say, get the book by Dr. James Dodson called The Strong-Willed Child. And I'll help break that down for you. Because I'm not a child psychologist or a psychologist, you know. But I do read books from them so I can learn some stuff. So I would encourage you to get that book, along with so many other books that he has written that are wonderful books that you can get through Focus on the Family or through just go to Dr. Dobson's website. Because the only thing keeping us trapped is our own ignorance. Here's a wonderful book that he written that I gave my kids to read. I read it first and I gave my kids to read it, everything. And it talks about and helps you understand, listen, how the body is changing from a child to an adult, dealing with adolescence. A lot of times we don't understand that those struggles in our teen years is because we don't understand the changes that are going on in our own body. And the more informed you are, the better it is that you can make better decisions because your brain ain't fully developed. And we get highly caught up in our feelings, you know. And children even more. And they got far less experiences about life. So they make bad choices. But if you inform yourself, you can make better decisions. And I believe, without a doubt, that helped protect my children because I try to inform them as much as I can. Because when they go to make decisions, I want them to understand something. Listen carefully. I want to understand what I tell them is 100% right. So when life kicks them, and life beats them, and life spanks them, they always come back and say, you know what? Daddy was right. Because it always, as much as your kids look up to you, as when they're little, they suck on every word you say. When they start going through that process, moving from a child to an adult, they want to fight for some independence. And when they go to do so, you want to feed them right information. You don't want to be telling them that you kiss a girl, she get pregnant. You don't want to tell them where the kids come from. Well, the hospital. You know what they used to say, the stalk, you know, the field, you know, in the country. They would say all sorts of stuff. Don't lie to your kids. Tell them the truth. Amen. So when life kicks them and they go out there and examine everything, they come to find out one thing: Mama, Daddy has always told me the truth. Because of sin, we cause ourselves to lose the trust of our children. Because I'm going to tell you something right here, right now. Listen to me. One of the greatest things that caused me not to trust my parents. My parents told me that Santa Claus gave me my kids, my toys. And when I was in, I think about second grade, and kid told me, Santa Claus didn't bring no kids, your mom and daddy did that. I said, no, they Santa Claus, because my mom and dad told me. And then you know how you argue. And so then all of a sudden they said, well, just stay up late, you know, don't go to sleep. And you watch, it was mom and dad, they put them toys on that tree. They ain't Santa Claus. So I deliberately just make myself stay woke. And then I saw them go downstairs, and I went down and peeped, and I saw it was them. And then guess what? I ain't trust what they said no more. It makes it very difficult to trust when you have found them lying to you. You know, about the tooth fairy. You know, put your tooth under the pillow, and you're going to get some money. And so they put some money while you sleep. Lying to your kids. Now, there was some other stuff they lied to us too, about getting that tooth out of your mouth. You know, like putting it on the string, slam the door, and pull it. Oh, man. No, just wait till that thing get weak. It'll get weak on its own, come out on its own. Just leave it alone. Can you imagine that, the cruelty? That is cruel. Did y'all hear what I just said? I don't know if some of y'all caught that. You put a long string on the tooth, then you wrap around the door, and then they slam the door. Come on. That is cruel. That's cruel. That's just as bad as getting whipped with a stitching cord. That's cruel. Oh, y'all listening to me? So what is causing our problems? Sin. I watched this thing. Listen, because I'm going somewhere. I definitely didn't plan to teach it this way. But this is a issue of the heart. I watched this. And I watched my kids, I watched members struggle with the life of faith. I watched it. I watched members over and over, and even to this day, most saints have a difficulty with faith. Now, here's how they do have faith. They have faith in what they can do. They have faith in what they can produce. But they do not have faith in what the Creator can produce beyond what they can produce. Because if I can't work for it, I can't see how He's going to bring it to me. And I watched her struggle with this one. And it grieves me. I really understand how Yahshua felt, how long I'm going to be with you? How long? Man, because it just grieves, to see the unbelief in people. I'll talk about how the Almighty's provide for me, and listen, and I didn't know, it's just like if, Brother Macklin just left a job right now, and that's how it happened with me. Look, how you going to be provided for? You don't know. But one thing I learned in the process is hear the voice of the good shepherd, obey his voice. Because all your provision is hearing and obeying. Say it with me again. Because our provision is in what? How do we walk out of sin? Hear the word, obey the word, and that's how you come out of sin. The problem is that we trying to rationalize it, and we trying to figure it out. We trying to understand it. We got feelings and emotions that are going contrary to that obedience, and we struggling with it only because, and I'm gonna get to it, and I'm not gonna get to it in fine detail, because the fine detail gets into understanding the effects of sin and what it does to us. But the reality is this. I want you to think about this for a moment. Your mind has everything you have ever heard, saw, experienced, felt, etc. in life. There's not one thing. Everything that I'm saying right now, guess what? It's stored in your mind, even though you can't recall it. If you heard it, it's there. But watch this. Everything that you ever heard, whether it's biblical or non-biblical, it's in your mind. Every television show you ever watch is in your mind. Every music and the lyrics, even when you couldn't barely recognize the, how I'm trying to figure out, especially when I'm listening to some rap, I'm trying to figure, man, what are you saying? Or even gospel music where you got the music so high and you could barely hear the words to it, but your mind is absorbing all of that stuff. Everything. From the time that you're a baby. Here's the thing that most people don't realize. Even when you were a baby in your mama's womb, you could hear, and you will constantly be influenced by everything that surrounds around you. Even when you was in your mama's womb. That's why the Bible says that I was born in sin, meaning I was born in the midst of sin. I was being shaped with iniquity, even while I was in my mom's womb. You were being influenced by sin and the surroundings while you were still in your mama's womb. You come out and now you're constantly being influenced. This child right here, my grand, number 17, grands, guess what? He's being influenced by everything around him right now. You say he can't even talk, but don't mean nothing, but he's still constantly being influenced by everything that he's hearing. Your mind is far more powerful than any computer. What you download as your own is what start controlling you. Even though all of that information is in there, but only what you download start taking control. What causes things to download experiences? What causes things to download, cause information to download experiences? And experiences come in more than just one way. Do you know that I can hear you tell a testimony about what God did for you, and I can download that as my own, and now it become my own personal testimony, even though it wasn't my testimony, it was your testimony, and now I'm being controlled by your testimony because I downloaded as my own. So I can have my own experience, but I can take your experience as my experience and then make it my experience, and now it controls me as my experience. When I'm just obedient to the word, creates an experience. And the more I keep obeying, until finally it creates an experience inside of me, just through staying in obedience. I want you to think about this. Listen to me. Everything you are and ought to be as a natural human being, as far as your bodily growth is in the natural human sperm seed. Meaning when your father, my father, released that sperm seed, it connected to my mom's ovary. That was me in the embryo. I developed into a fetus. That was still me. I came birthing out. That was still me. I was a baby, me. Grew up and became an adolescent. That's me, teenager. And then became a grown man, me. And now I'm becoming a senior. And it's still me. But all of that was there from the beginning in the seed. Now watch this. If my mom did not eat right, it affected me. If I came out and didn't eat right, and they didn't feed me right, it affected me in my health being. Then I grew up and become adult, and I practice not eating right myself. It affects me and my development, and it affects. Watch this. Your mental health is also determined by mental food. You feed your mind to become a healthy mental, emotional being in this world. Watch this one. Your spiritual health is also determined by the spiritual food you feed your spirit to become a healthy, spiritual, and experimental person in this world and in the kingdom of Yahweh. Listen carefully. Everything you are and are to be is in the divine seed of Elohim. Everything that you are and everything you're to be is in the seed. Now, how do we know what that seed is? 1 Peter 1:23 says, being born again, not of corruptible seed, but incorruptible seed, which is the word of God, the word of Elohim. So we're born not of natural seed, but spiritual seed, which is eternal. But watch this. We have to keep growing in knowledge of that same word of Elohim. Meaning this, the Bible says in 2 Peter, 3rd chapter, verse 18, that we're to grow in knowledge. But watch this, listen to me carefully. And this is why some of us constantly struggling. Watch this, listen. 2 Peter, the 1st chapter, verse 2 through 4, tells us this. Listen, that even the divine nature is given to us through knowledge. So now watch this. So even though I'm born of the seed, but if I don't keep feeding on the word, then the divine nature that I already have can't develop. And that divine nature in me is developing based on how I'm feeding it. Okay, all right. Watch this. We were born in our mom's womb, come out the womb. Then we had to feed on mama. Now let's forget about, modern technology and everything, give them a bottle, because, some females just don't want to go the natural route and feed them, because without a doubt, it's far more healthier for the baby to feed on mama than to be getting some Similac. So the baby grows up in mama, feeding off of mama, because every time mama eats, feed me. Then I come out, I'm birthed. Then I got to feed off mama's breast, and receive the milk. And so all I know is feeding off of mama. And so now mama wants to wean me. Say wean. So now mama wants to wean, and then now it's time to wean. I'm used to. And so now they want to feed me something different. And not all babies, because some make the transition pretty good, but most of them, they start whining, crying, and why? Because they're not used to. And it's nothing worse than a child that has not been weaned properly. I'm telling you what I know. It's nothing worse than seeing a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid with a bottle of milk in their hand with a nipple on it. That is an ugly sight. At 5 is ugly, but 7 and 9 even worse. Because that child has not been weaned. They still want the bottle. And why is it challenging on the child? Because they're used to mama. They used to feeding from mom from within, and now they're used to feeding from mama without. And now you have to wean. Watch this. Ready? Y'all ready? We were being shaped and molded in the world and in this womb of earth. And we've been feeding off of it. Then all of a sudden, we get saved. And now we have to be weaned off this world. And guess what? We just like that baby. Ah! Why? Because we used to that milk from the world. We're not used to eating food from the table. And we're struggling. Why? Because we're used to working for everything we got and instead of learning how to trust the Creator for everything we get. We're struggling. Why? Because we haven't been weaned from this world. And as long as we haven't been weaned, we still babies. We saved, but we still babies. Because, listen, those that are mature totally rely on kingdom and not this world. Those that are still unweaned rely on this world, even though they believe in the kingdom. This is why Yeshua made it clear. If you're going to follow me, you got to deny yourself. You got to be weaned. You got to totally learn how to disconnect from the breasts of this world. And you're only struggling because you haven't allowed yourself to be weaned. If you don't understand the analogy that I gave, let me help you understand the analogy the Bible gives. The Bible gives us this analogy that the Creator produced his child in a harlot. And she gave birth to his holy child. He brings this child out of the harlot, and now he has to wean them in the wilderness. And then they struggle, just like all struggle in the process of being weaned. Because being weaned emotionally can feel like being offered as a sacrifice, and that's why Yeshua refers it to as a sacrifice. I want you to think about this for a moment. See, he tells us how to, the Almighty tells us how to offer sacrifice without being cruel to the animal. Can I borrow your son? All right. I want you to think about this. I want y'all to think about this. I want you to just picture this in your mind. So, when you offer the sacrifice, pull the animal head back, pull out the blade, and cut it from the throat so it can be a quick death. But you know what we be doing? We be cutting every place else. We be cutting. And that's why we keep prolonging the death. Thank you. Because we don't want to die. And so we just leave scars on ourselves. And then we want to just feel good because we got some scars. But why did you get those scars? Because you wouldn't die right. Because you go ahead and die right, you get it over with, and it's over. But since you won't die right, then you got to keep dying. Over and over and over and over and over. Just go ahead and just look at somebody. Just die. You know, and we're not talking about you personally. We're talking about that soul, you know. Just die. Just kill that murmuring and complaining. Just kill that gossip. Just kill. Just kill. Just kill. And then the list goes on. Just kill it. You know, don't try to ease out of it. Say, you know, we need to kind of like detox a little bit from. No, just kill it. You know, it's like an addict trying to get free from crack on heroin. And then he try to get free from heroin on methadone. I may not be saying the names right, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Then you try to get free from the methadone by popping pills. Because we're trying to ease out of it. And then here's the one I done seen people do. No, there's no lie. This is because people don't realize this one. And then people try to ease from their drug addiction to taking sugar. If you ever watch people who just pile on sugar, because sugar is a drug, y'all. And I've watched ex-addicts who just take in pounds and pounds of sugar to curb that appetite from that drug addiction they had. I watch it over and over again. And because we have a tendency to always replace one thing with something else. And we still end up addicts. Well, no, you gotta just lean back and just. And it's over just like that. You hit it in the right spot and you did like that. It's over. There's no struggle right there. It's over. Because watch this. Listen to me carefully. When you finally get to that place where you finally allowed yourself to die 15, 20 years later, 30 years later, then you saw how easy it was to die. You realize you wasted 30 years. When you just could have died year one. Could have just died. But you didn't want to go through the pain. It's been painful, but it's been quick death. So now you're struggling. It's hard to get rid of the gossip. It's hard to get rid of everything. Why? Because you're highly developed in the gossip, the lying, the stealing. And your sin will always try to give you an easy way out. Because here's what gossipers do. They say, I don't gossip no more. But Brother Lumpkin, I want you to pray with me. And Father in heaven, you know all these little crazy preachers out here. And I know one, he's right over there on such and such street. And he be doing this, that, and the other. So we still find ourselves still gossiping. And using it and calling it spiritual, called prayer. I know some people didn't hear about this. And they praying and they telling you what some people didn't hear about. Oh, here's another one. It's I ain't gossiping. Because the modern technology this way. We just send you the link. So you can watch it. Are y'all listening to me? Look at somebody and say, just die. Mm-hmm. Don't wean for the next 15 years. Just cut it off right now. See, listen to me. If you wean yourself off this world, you'll be a healthier, better person. But see, you can't wean yourself off the world and don't connect yourself fully to God and through his word. You can't wean yourself off this world and not connect yourself with the right godly kind of people. Because if you wean yourself off the world and you don't connect yourself right with the Creator and with his people, you're going to feel like you're going crazy. You're going to feel like that you need to just sin just to feel normal. Because you ain't used to this new life. Y'all mighty quiet. Either y'all understand what I'm saying, or you missed those experiences because you're so carnal to understand how that when you go through a spiritual detox and you don't connect yourself properly, you feel like you're going crazy. Because I want to tell you something. You can't take that old mindset and trying to place it into this new walk with the Creator. It just don't work. You got to get a new mindset to go with this new walk. And if you don't change that mindset going into this new walk, you're going to set yourself crazy. Yes, I'm talking to you. There's a lot of you feel like you're going crazy because you won't get a new mindset with this new walk. You can't take this world mindset into this new walk with the Creator. It don't work. This is why Yeshua said you can't put old wine in new wineskin. You only can put new wine in new wineskin. You only can put this new mind in this new lifestyle you got. And last, because I didn't even hit nothing I really wanted to hit, but that part. But I want you to think of something real quick. I want you to think about this. When we don't put this new mind with the new lifestyle, we take the old mind and bring it into the new lifestyle. We setting ourselves crazy. And here's what we end up doing, because we still got the old mind. Here's what we do. I'm okay. But look at Deacon so-and-so. I'm okay. Look at Minister so-and-so. I'm okay. Look at brother and sister so-and-so. And so you start comparing yourself by other folk instead of comparing yourself to him. Well, you say, listen, you say, because here's what we do when we lie to ourselves. You say, nobody can live like Yeshua. You just lied to yourself. But you also told yourself the truth. Because no one in the flesh can live like Yeshua, but if we live in the realm of the Spirit, we can live like him. You know why? Because it's not us, it's him. When you get in the Spirit, that's him. It's him living his life through us. Because listen, that's the great mystery that Paul was talking about. The great mystery. The hidden truth that Messiah is in you. See? It don't even click. Messiah is in you. I'll try it again. Messiah is not trying to be. He's already in you. And that's the hope of glory. That we don't have to live this life ourselves. We can let him live it through us. I want you to get this in your spirit. Anything good I ever done is him. And anything that's not good, that was me. If I'm teaching you and you being blessed, that's him. If you ain't getting nothing from what I'm saying, that's me. Well, really, it's you too. Because you're too busy listening to me instead of listening to him in me. So it's a combination of both of us. Because if you hear my voice, you missed it. But if you hear him in my voice, you got it. Are you listening? It is very easy to walk with the Creator if you live life in the Spirit. And it's very easy to walk with the Creator if you live life by faith. Whatever is not of faith is sin. This is why the faith life is so important to us. We must learn to live life by faith. And everything, the good, small, everything, kiss your husband in faith. Because you're going to realize one day it's going to take faith to really kiss him. Wives, have sex with your husband by faith. Because you're going to find out there are times you don't feel like it. And it is an act of faith. Pay your bills by faith. Because there are going to be times you don't feel like paying your bills. And it's going to require faith to go ahead and pay them. Save some money by faith. Because there's times you don't feel like saving, no. So everything you do it in word or deed. You do it totally dependent on him. And you do it in faith. I come to church in faith. I go home by faith. Because guess what? There's sometimes you don't feel like going home. You ever been there before? If you ain't been there before, you ain't been married long enough yet. you come home by faith. Everything. You begin to realize how important faith is in everything that you do. Stand to your feet, please. How do we take what we heard and apply it to our lives? That's what altar call is all about. How do we take what we heard and now implement it? Do it in our everyday living. How do we wean ourselves from the world? Do you know that is so many variations on that as humans? Because all humans are wired differently. But how do you wean yourself? So asking yourself, how do I wean myself from this world? How do I stop sucking on the breast of this world? I'll tell you this, the first thing you got to admit, I like sucking on them breasts. Because if you don't admit that you like sucking on the breast, you're not going to win. Because that's the first thing you got to admit. I like, because that's why I keep sucking, because I like. Hello, y'all. When I think about this world, listen to me carefully. There's a lot of things that I like. And listen to me carefully. When I think about this world, there's a lot of things I like about this world that God don't like. And I have to admit, I like it, but God don't. And I have to admit to myself, I have to learn how to not like what God don't like. So you got to start talking with yourself right there. See, because if you don't be honest with yourself, you'll never walk in freedom. You got to be honest with yourself. Listen what the Bible says. In Hebrews, 12, it says, Moses refusing to enjoy the pleasures of Egypt, this world, and rather to suffer with the true people of God, or suffer with Israel. Listen, I had to come to that place that I'd rather suffer with the people of God than enjoy the pleasures of this world. That's a hard pill to swallow. Now, for some of y'all, that's a horse pill. No, some of y'all, that's a double horse pill, a triple horse pill, quadruple horse pill. But that's a pill you got to swallow. There are things about this world that all of us love. And we have become so accustomed to sucking on the breast of this world. And now God is trying to wean us so we can eat from his table. And we are choosing keep sucking on the breast of this world. Now, I wish I could wean you off. It's something that you have to do. Because if I can wean you off, you've been weaned off. Because I would lean you back and it's been over. But are you listening to me? All right. So say this with me. Say, Father, teach me how to be weaned from this world. Father, give me the courage to let my soul, mind, will, emotions, thinking be weaned from this world and die. Father, help me to come to life in you through feeding on Torah in and through the Holy Spirit. Help me to walk in obedience to your word. And I thank you for teaching me how to do so. In the name of Yeshua. Satan, I break your power and your influence over my life. My life is no longer mine. It belongs to Elohim. Yeshua the Messiah is my master, my Lord, the controller of my life. My life no longer belongs to me. It belongs to him. I have been bought and been purchased through the blood of Messiah. And Father, I thank you. I choose this day to be weaned from this world so I can eat from your table and grow. In Yeshua's name. Give me the grace, the ability to walk therein. Thank you for this. Amen. That you can be seated in the presence of Almighty. Those that are watching by YouTube live, those that don't delay, you found a way to be weaned from this world. I'm telling you, when you choose to do so, you're going to find out that your life will be far better in every way, spiritually, mentally, physically, socially, financially, in your marriage, in your sexual life, in your single life. Every way you'll find out your life becomes better when you allow yourself to wean itself from the world and follow and feed and eat of the kingdom. I'm telling you, everything gets better. I know what I'm talking about. Everything gets better. So if you've been touched in any capacity, in any way, I'm asking you to be sensitive to hear the voice of the Good Shepherd, obey his voice, and what he would have you to give. You can go to our website, Levi Web Ministries, britministries.org, and that you can give whatever the Spirit of the Lord would dictate to your heart to give there. Those that are here, be sensitive to hear the voice of the Good Shepherd, obey his voice, and what he would have to give. Also, as we're talking, we said that we asked those to help in each year in terms of taking a pledge, and it helps us to get things done, to purchase things, do maintenance. There's always maintenance things. Right now, we want to put, for your benefit, not mine. I am not an air person, but I do appreciate, especially when it gets super hot, to have air. But other than that, I am not an air person. Pretty much like my mother on that one, who, if you ever go to her house, you see, I don't want it, not that hot, but I do understand. But anyhow, we want to do so. And the first offer they gave was over $7,000. The next one is around, is just under 4, which is a big difference. And so I thank the Creator for that. And so to put an AC unit, brand new unit, into the fellowship hall so you don't have to sweat it out in the fellowship hall. How may I enjoy some air? I'd love to have some air in there in the fellowship hall. In order to do that, we need some resources in order to do so. And so we thank the Almighty for those who help us, and we're still paying on the renovations and things done in regard to the media, the sound room and all that, and all the new equipment. But at the same time, we do need to put a new AC unit into the fellowship hall, and that will open some wonderful doors so we can easily have, in the summertime, do some banquets and some prayer breakfasts and things of that nature without sweating so hard. So we will greatly appreciate your support and helping us to do so. So we would need, if we round it off and made it so we can keep it, so in your mind we would need $4,000. That's far better than over $7,000. And we would need that in order to put a brand new AC unit into the fellowship hall. So above the tithes and offering, because we still got the regular expenses, all those things still there, we would need you to give above that. And you can do so in any capacity. You can, those